Hey, Henry, thank you very much for being in here. Thanks a lot.
It's an absolute pleasure, sir. An absolute pleasure. I got there in the end. A little bit of tech problems, but
Mhm.
I think I've weathered through them okay.
Good, excellent, Henry. Henry, you are reporting right now from the UK. Where exactly?
I am in Enfield, North
Mm-hmm.
London, in the
Yeah,
UK. It's
great.
a beautiful morning.
Uh-huh.
I believe we're going to have some sunshine, so that's something to be happy about, right?
Wow. Great. Henry, you are a coach, you are a trainer, you are a mentor, you are a speaker. And when I went through your bio, I came to know that you are very specific with regards to men. Is that your
Yeah,
niche? Why is
that
that
is
so?
that's absolutely my niche, Farookh.
Mm-hmm.
I did start off coaching men and women,
Mm-hmm.
but it, it started to make more sense to me and the work that I was doing
Mm-hmm.
that it was the men who I was here to help.
Okay.
Like of course, I myself identify as a man.
Yeah.
Uh, the problems that I've been through getting to where I am today are very specific to men. Like the whole idea of masculinity, what
Mm-hmm.
it means to be a man,
Mm-hmm.
the angst, the fears, all of that ties into what I do with the men that I coach.
Mm-hmm. And so why specific fear part? I know that you're talking about the fear part in men.
So we're talking about emotions, Faroukh. We're
Okay.
talking about men who fear their own emotions, men who believe that they can't change,
Mm-hmm.
stalwart men who are told that they can't communicate. So they
Okay.
believe that they can't, and then they don't. But what they're actually doing is denying themselves. It's 82% of themselves that they're missing out. 82% of all our communication is emotional.
Mm-hmm.
And when men go around and when they navigate the world and they hear these messages that men don't feel,
Mm-hmm.
men don't cry,
Yep.
men are men, all of these hugely damaging. And my clients come to me, when they're like, I just know this isn't true, but I don't know how to go about this. Like, I want more from my life, Henry. How do I get more? Fix me, Henry.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I can't fix you, but I will help you feel, and then I will give you the toolkit that you need to
Okay.
unlock your life.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So when did you identify that there is a gap or where there's a fear? How did you find it? Did you go through that scenario or how did it happen? Was it accidental or it was intentional looking for something?
Yeah, it was intentional. Like, I come from a background of mental health problems,
Yeah.
depression,
Mm-hmm.
suicide ideation,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of addiction problems.
Mm-hmm.
All the way through all of that,
Mm-hmm.
I was in pain. Okay,
Okay.
I was terrified of abandonment and being rejected. Now, I didn't realize that
Mm-hmm.
until way further down the line, when I'd almost ruined my life. I'd essentially destroyed my life,
Mm-hmm.
and I was left there in my rock bottom. Like, how did I end up here?
Mm-hmm.
What is wrong with me? And
Mm-hmm.
then I went to a rehab. I went to
Okay.
professional therapy. I
Mm-hmm.
got to the point where I was told, like, I was in pain. And I was like,
Mm-hmm.
how do I access that pain?
Mm-hmm.
And that's when the choice came. Like, I chose to face that which I had been avoiding.
Mm-hmm. So you went for a help. There are a lot of people who don't seek help and they just are in the dark. What do you talk to them?
Mm.
What do you tell them?
I say there's a lot more out there than you think there is.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like, people don't go for therapy and people don't go for this emotional help.
Mm-hmm.
Like, get that. It's
Mm-hmm.
it's not in the masculine vernacular
Mm-hmm.
to decide to go and look at one's emotions, unless you're a slightly kind of awakened man or empowered man. But it's not there as you're feeling sad, you're feeling depressed, you're drinking too much. What you then do, most men just shut it out, shut it down. Like, the option isn't widely available that actually it's time to work on your emotions and it's time to get help.
Mm-hmm. So your prime customers, if I may put in that way, your prime customers are those who have gone through depression, who are going through depression, who are in the extreme bottom of their life. Are they your customers, or you also look for customers who are, as you mentioned right now, empowered people, empowered men? Do you get them also as customers?
Yeah, it's the empowered men that I go for. The reason,
Mm-hmm.
like, I will assess everybody. and assessment's a slightly distant kind of word, but
Mm-hmm.
it's about their needs. And
Mm-hmm.
if a man comes to me and he's been through the worst of it, you know, I'll welcome him in. He'll come through my doors, and we'll sit down and find out what he needs. But often it's a case that he needs professional help. Now, luckily, because I'm very well connected, I'm like, okay, I suggest that you go down this path. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I can still hold you accountable as your coach, but I feel that you're a little bit too vulnerable right now.
Mm-hmm.
So go to this mental health professional, get the help. She's really good. Get the help that you need. If they're suffering really badly with addiction,
Mm-hmm.
then I have a wealth of addiction people that I can send them to. It's
Okay.
if we talk about ideal customers, as in the returning clients and the
Yeah.
clients that I have,
Mm-hmm.
it's the man who's aware there is something more, and he's also aware that he's been told that he can't change, but he
Mm-hmm.
wants to change, and he's
Mm-hmm.
open. It's that openness. You can't force someone to be open. You can't force a clink in their armor. They have to come to that point themselves, and that's where the willingness comes in. That's where the commitment to change comes in, because it comes from them. I'm not. It'd be horrific if you went to see a coach and he just started to just reveal all your weaknesses and then manipulate you into paying.
Yep.
So that's not what I do.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Do you have customers like corporates where maybe somebody from the corporation, they come to you and they say that, would you like to come to our organization, to our business? And we would like to have your service there. Now, I'm talking about not an individual. I'm talking about a number of people together. Do you do those services as well?
That's part of the game plan at the moment, is to expand, to run workshops, because what we're talking about when we're talking about corporations and why they need me, is it's communication. You know, that is all it comes down to. And I deal, you know, specifically with men communicating with other men and with women. So my angle is that I can help a company increase their productivity, their creativity, and their revenue, all by creating a much nicer, more communicative work environment.
Wow. So there could be a lot of people who are listening to us right now, and they would like to seek your help. So how can they come and connect with you if they are not from the UK?
If they're not from the UK, well, it'd be amazing to hear from you. I don't know, Farookh, will you be putting links in the show notes?
Yes, I would be sharing your link as well.
The best place is to come find me on my website, which is www.henryjohnston.org. You can come find me on Facebook at Henry Johnston. I've got a page and my profile, and I'm also part of the Men Helping Men group, which is a super active group on Facebook, which does exactly what it says on the tin. So those three places are the best place. And come and listen to my podcast, The Inner Warrior Reframing Masculinity. All there. I love hearing from people as well, Farookh. It's an absolute pleasure every time I do.
Oh, that's great. Henry, could you take us through a step-by-step? What are the three things that you would like to advise or share your knowledge and experience with my audience? What are the three things that they have to do in order to be successful in their life rather than going into the deep ditch of darkness?
Okay, so you want to avoid the deep ditch of darkness. That's
exactly
not
correct.
a place where you want to go.
Exactly correct. Exactly correct.
And every human being deserves. I honestly believe that. I think every human being deserves the compassion from the fellow human being. What I'd like to say is, if you are feeling depressed, and you know that kind of depression that I'm talking about is something that you wake up in the morning with, you can't face the day, everything is just lackluster, grey, there's no love, there's absolutely no passion. So what you want to do with that is you want to sit down, and whether you do it on a train, or you do it on your sofa, or you have a day off and you're walking the dog, you're going to put some earphones in, you're going to meditate, right? This is the easiest way to get in touch with what you're missing, because what you're missing is your body. You're missing your body and the emotions that come from there. And there will be one emotion, and it might not be the clearest, but just sit, breathe. You've got to breathe in through your nose, out through your mouth, push your belly out, get that diaphragmatic breathing going, connect with your body, feel your body, touch your body, and a feeling will come, be it a sensation or a location or a density or a heaviness. Identify with it, find out what it, emotions last for 90 seconds. So what you've got going on is an emotion that's been pushed down. It's been pushed down so much, it's 90 seconds. It's just repeating and repeating because it hasn't been heard. And when you squash down emotions, you cause depression. That is the simple, and then it turns into anger and warps and poisons. It's horrible. So what you're going to do is you're going to find that emotion. And once you've got it, you will know that you've got it because it will be so obvious. And you listen to it. What is it saying to you? Name it. Write it down. Right after you've named it, what do you need to do? Often, if it's sadness, do something. If it's sadness, do something for you that makes you happy. If you're feeling threatened by abandonment, talk to the person who's threatening you. Do it plainly. Name your feeling. Name your place. Take accountability for your emotions. It's really simple. Get up, meditate, breathe, find the emotion, name it, and then do something that makes sense to you, because you will have been avoiding doing something about it. And just do something. Like whether you writing it down is powerful, telling people, and if you can, talk to someone about it, then power to you. It's very much that is the process of accessing and becoming okay with your emotions. Like that's the very, very first step.
Now, what would be the second one if you have one more?
Oh, right. Well, the second step, you've got to continue. You've got to continue doing that. Okay, but this time, like the second step is the first step. It's not entirely clear what the emotion is. Like when we first look into our emotions, you get so many different messages about what it is. The second step is doing the first step, but way more intently. So you're going to take an hour and you're going to sit, and with every single awful, painful, horrible emotion that comes, I can guarantee you they're only awful, painful, and horrible because you've been ignoring them. Just sit with them and listen to them. And it is agonizing. And that's why it's the second step, because you don't want to put someone into an agonizing state. But it is painful. But after that pain, you will be released. And you will know where that pain is coming from. Because you will get a message that is so clear, it will literally tell you what you have to do. Because we all know what we've been avoiding, right?
Yep.
If we squash an emotion, we know why we're squashing it. We just push it out into a little box. Like, oh, no, I don't want to think about that. If I do, that means I'll have to do this and this and this.
Well, let me give you a scenario here. There are a lot of people who are very much scared of public speaking. Let's take an example.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's number one fear. That's what it's been told. So let's say that I'm one of the clients, and I just heard what you said right now, and this particular fear is eating me up, and I have got a presentation maybe tomorrow or the day after. What should I do? I use the same meditation, and then take me from there.
So you want to sit. I want you to sit. Your back straight through.
Okay.
I want you to look at me.
Okay.
You're going to rest down your shoulders. Okay. Close your eyes. Really, really quick way to do this. You're going to go through some NLP anchoring. You're not going to put the speech out of your mind. There's nothing you can do about that. What you can do is you can access the core of you, which is self-belief, trust, and confidence. Farookh, I want you to describe to me what empowerment looks like to you.
Right. For me, empowerment. Okay, if this was a real case scenario, then I would say empowerment is just like standing on the stage, talking like Tony Robbins and so forth. I can see the bubbles, and I can see the balloons falling on me. This is something I used to do when I do my NLP program, when I did my master's at NLP, and they took me through something which is called the Circle of Excellence. And as soon as I got into the Circle of Excellence, that's exactly what I started. Even now, today, when I go to the stage, I see myself as one of the best speakers. People ask me, how do you do that? Sometimes I do the presentation just a day before my actual presentation. I just walk in. there would definitely be butterflies in your belly. It happens to everybody, but I walk onto the stage and I do it the way that I want to do it. Very simple as that.
Yeah,
But I get into that circle.
Phenomenally powerful.
Yes.
Phenomenally powerful. The NLP work just gets deep, and it gets to exactly where you want it to be, and that's the process. I mean, I adapted the NLP model a little bit.
Okay.
Where I do the inner warrior.
Okay.
Which is part of my confidence program for people who struggle with public speaking.
Okay.
And making difficult decisions, and I encourage to identify a symbol of power. You know, and it's a case of quietening the mind. And we go deep for about, maybe sometimes it takes 2 hours. We go deep and we find that quietness inside them where there is no data from the outside world interfering. And then in that, there is a fire of empowerment. There is the warrior, which is waiting. And I get them to identify with the warrior, anchor the warrior in their hearts. They stand up, they put their shoulders back, they hold their swords to the sky, they do everything, and I'm not saying anything, and they're like, I feel it, I feel it. When can I do this speech? And I'm like, right, that's awesome. And then you get them to do the anchoring, right? And you anchor that image in a sensation. I always do the thumb and forefinger. So I'm pressing my thumb and forefinger right now. I can feel my warrior come through when I do this.
All of a
I
sudden.
definitely, I definitely practice what I preach. And then they've got it. And sometimes they get scared. They're like, but what if it goes? I'm like, it won't go because it is you. You haven't created this. You've just opened your eyes and seen it for the first time. I'm like, if you've got a speech tomorrow, you are going to do this. You're going to press your thumb and forefinger together. You're going to feel it. And when that fear comes, notice as it dissolves, because your warrior will not stand for that fear. You are not that fear. That fear is external. That fear is data.
Yeah.
Step into your warrior. And they do it. Like, I personally, I use my warrior every day. I use my warrior to go a little bit further on my run. You know, or to lift weights more at the gym, or, you know, before I came on this call. It's phenomenally powerful.
Wow. So it's not very specific for a particular job. It could be for anything in your life. Wherever you feel that you're down, you just press your thumb and your forefinger because the warrior is already there. It's like a genie, if I put it that way. It's like a genie. You just press the anchor.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, it is. Wherever that anxiousness comes.
Yeah.
I did it. I went to a BNI meeting the other day, and I'm not totally comfortable in corporate situations, but I was like, do you know what? Let's do this. And I did a double warrior technique, and I just smashed it completely. I just went. It was incredible. You know, it's something that can be used everywhere.
Wow. Henry, thank you very much for waking up so early and then connecting with me and my team over here.
Oh, it's been a pleasure, Farookh, an absolute pleasure.
And you are my very first guest in series number 2 of Ignition. Wow.
Yes.
There you go. There you go. There you go. Ladies and gentlemen, Henry Johnstone from the UK.